The scene is set, the cages are out, and we are ready for a 6 p.m. start. A beautiful fall evening in the Hill City, ready for some field hockey action. A battle between non-conference but in-state foes. It's Mary Washington and Lynchburg coming up next on LHSN. I am Sam Graham. Have a very exciting matchup coming up for you tonight. Whole lot of stuff that we're going to get to throughout this game. A whole lot of aspects and recipes for success for both of these two teams. But we'll remind you, the last time that we saw Lynchburg on this field, it was their home opener, was Code Red, and it was a battle with now number 20, Ursinus. Lynchburg still in the polls, by the way, dropped just one spot to number 24 after a 2-1 start to the season. But Ursinus comes in here, gets a win 3-1. But Coach Enza Steele has rattled off 24 straight games without suffering back-to-back losses, and I guarantee you she has no intention of ending that streak tonight. But on the other side, it will be the 3-1 Mary Washington Eagles making the trip to Lynchburg tonight. They have gotten off to a hot start, won their first 3 games before a brutal double overtime. That's right, 2 overtimes to decide a winner between the Eagles and nationally ranked number 18, Bryn Mawr. Bryn Mawr scoring the winning goal 2 seconds before the end of regulation. Otherwise, that one would have gone to penalty strokes. As the players get ready to trot out onto the field, we'll take a look at some of the numbers entering today. A couple of teams very efficient and very even when it comes to scoring per game. You look at the goal against average. That's inflated a little bit for Lynchburg, led up 3 goals to Ursinus, but how about .92? And to make it even more impressive, a .75 goal against average for Mary Washington if we're speaking strictly of regulation. Corners per game, that's going to be huge in this battle. Lynchburg very efficient when they create corners. Got a lot of really good set plays, but you see not getting there at the same clip as Mary Washington. One more thing to keep an eye on for Lynchburg. Want to keep those fouls down. They've climbed up well over 30 per game on average, including 55 on the road against Dickinson. Now, Coach Steele not too worried about those fouls, says some of that's just a product of being a fast and athletic team, and obviously those are good things. Happy with her program in that regard. Looks like we have gotten going officially here just after 6:04 p.m. We are already off and running with the first Lynchburg possession of the day. It is going to be well, for our intents and purposes, a turnover. Don't keep track of turnovers in field hockey, but it's always easy for me to, comprehend in an efficient manner when we flip the field here. So it's going to be the first possession for Mary Washington before cut off in my tracks by a foul going against the Eagles. That ball goes airborne, nearly clipped Marlou Vendricks in the face. Vendricks, our player to watch for tonight's contest. A little bit of a slow start for her liking. Of course, she does have 2 goals already for the Hornets. Does not lead the team. That would be Erin Boatwright, the former defender, converted to left wing for the first time in her career now as a senior. Talk about embracing the role. 4 goals, an additional 2 assists for 10 points to lead the Hornets in all 3 categories, making that transition look seamless. But Vendricks did lead the team a season ago, 17 goals, and Lynchburg's going to find success not only today but throughout the season. Going to need that typical production from the standout sophomore. Have to imagine that's going to be coming soon. That ball goes out of bounds as Allie Freeman, freshman who's made a start in now all 4 games to start the year for Lynchburg. She forces it ahead, looking for Boatwright. Boatwright unable to corral it. So now Mary Washington will look to get their backs out from against the brick wall right now that is their defensive backfield here. Just 13 shots faced through 4 games is nothing to play with. Just a little over 3 per contest that have actually made their way all the way out to number 55 in goal, Bailey McNabb, the senior goalkeeper out of Chesapeake, Virginia, is off to a great start to her senior campaign. And again, that defensive back line making things even easier. Lynchburg's going to look to crack the code on that tonight. Boatwright looking to do it right now, near side corner. May have been looking close for Danielle Kuhn. Instead, it finds its way to Freeman. And that pass is going to be corralled by one of those backline defenders for Mary Washington. Freeman battling for it on the near end line, going believe it was a foul. Did not see the ball go out of bounds. That's going to turn it back over to the Eagles. Eagles led by Jamie Tiernan, now in her 6th season at the helm of the Eagles program. Coming off a year in which faced some adversity last year, a 5-13 final record, but has posted 2 winning records in her first 4 full seasons. Of course, we had the COVID year in 2020. Mary Washington did not play. So I guess that counts as a season, but for all intents and purposes, this is really year 5 for Coach Tiernan. And then, of course, Coach Enza Steele. Year 45 is off and running with now game 4 on the year. Second game on the home turf. Historic Schellenberger Field. I think we're at liberty to go ahead and start saying historic Schellenberger Field. Plenty of fantastic battles have taken place here. Not only field hockey battles, but lacrosse, soccer, you name it. A lot of stories this field could tell if it could talk, though that'd be a little strange if a field started talking to you. Might want to go see the doctor about that. But anyway, back to field hockey. Right around midfield right now. Both teams battling for possession here. Slightly warm, albeit just about perfect fall late afternoon into early evening. Sun should peek back behind the new Westover dorms. It's going to be hard to have ever stopped saying the new Westover dorms. Of course, they've been unveiled for several years now. Memory serves, this is the 5th. Right now it's Mazizian close. How about that shot? Goes airborne, just about misses the very top of the cage. That went over everybody's head, and showing off stick skills and the power she can put on it, there was Mazizi. Member of the U21 Zimbabwe national team, and I was talking to as Kyle Haney would say, our fearless leader, Tim LaDuca. Special happy birthday to Mr. LaDuca today as well. I was talking to him before the game. It's not just that Mazizi is on that national team. I mean, she is a contributor, led that team in scoring this past year. Now bringing her talents her freshman season to Lynchburg. No goals yet, but I promise you folks, it's coming. Zizzy's one you just cannot help but notice. She's so fast, so athletic. Mentioned it last game, but Coach Steele saying, just wait till you see her on AstroTurf. Said she will be flying all over the place. And she really does it on both sides of the field, poking balls away defensively, making some great passes on the offensive side, factors very well in some set pieces. She's got it right now in close, shakes her defender, tries to get a shot off, instead catches the stick of her defender. That was Lauren Boucher out of Virginia Beach, so a little bit closer to Schellenberger Field than Mazizi in terms of hometowns. Now on the far side there, cross coming in into traffic. Going to be poked away by Mary Washington, now trying to get out on the run. Lynchburg got something to say about that themselves. Now Lynchburg takes back over control, still on that far side. So both teams doing a lot of vying for possession here through the first almost half of this first quarter. Oh, how about the crossover there? Freeing up some space is Freeman. She's had the ball in her stick a lot. Now she has it taken away. Now here comes Mary Washington trying to get back, hustling down. It's our player to watch on the other side from Mary Washington. That's Emma Bernard. Kayla Brady steps out of the cage, able to stop her momentum. So unable to get a shot off there are the Eagles. Bernard leading Mary Washington in just about every offensive category. And by just about, I mean literally everything except for shot percentage and shots on goal percentage. But even those numbers are pretty darn stout. Sometimes hard to lead your team. When the volume gets up there a little bit, it's hard to be quite as efficient. But she's been fantastic. Leads the way in goals, assists, points, shots, and shots on goal. She should factor in a big, big way here tonight. If Mary Washington looks to even up this series that's now in its 30th all-time edition. First met in 1993. More on that later, but Met very consistently virtually every season. Again, these in-state foes, a couple of NCAA tournament battles as well. But tonight's the main one that we care about, and it's a 0-0 score, 8 minutes into this game. Danny Kuhn trying to work it ahead to Boatwright. Whistles blow. Looks like that foul is going to go against Mary Washington, but Lynchburg is going to have to back up a little bit, so Freeman will key it in near the substitution box. Steps over to near side out of bounds line. Eyes up ahead of her. That's a good swing of the stick, but it will be poked away again. Backline defense for Mary Washington already has featured several times today. That time it was Katie Royal, freshman out of Virginia Beach. A couple regular starters in their first years at their respective programs on both sides. Royals had a great start to her first year at Mary Wash. Keying it in here is Boucher. But Wright steps up to contend that. Goes sent airborne. Kuhn about pokes it away. Instead, it's sent out of bounds by Bernard. Freeman again to key it in. Been very active early on. Now Cameron, the center back, gets involved. Talk about good defenders. Really can't have a conversation about the best Division III defenders in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, rather, and leave out Riley Cameron. All state, all conference, you name it. Does have a goal already this year as well. Turnover against Lynchburg, far side. Ball sent back up in the air by Emma Lehman, sophomore defender out of Delaware, getting the start tonight for Coach Tierney's squad. Lynchburg trying to test, trying to probe against those defenders in the early going here. Still have not gotten off a great look at it. Mazizzi's shot that went over the goal, probably the best one so far. 2 shots showing on the board for Lynchburg. Mary Wash with 1. I imagine crediting a shot to Bernard there, but we'll check that at the break. Good to see Brady come out, play that perfectly, come out and stop it for a true shot. Is ever even able to be lined up. A tough day against Ursinus for Brady. I say tough day only because of what we've come to expect. Another all-conference, all-state, really one of the best goalkeepers in all of Division III is Brady. Just 1 save on 4 shots faced in that game against Ursinus. A game that, Lynchburg did a lot of things really well. Played fairly well in that game. It just really came down to Ursinus being more efficient. Lynchburg outshot them, had more shots on goal. Did have a little bit of foul trouble as we touched the outset of this game, but time of possession's not a stat, but if it were, Lynchburg absolutely would have controlled that too. But again, at the end of the day, Ursinus just converting on what opportunities that they were able to get, especially the penalty corners. I mentioned top of the broadcast, Lynchburg has been good when they've been able to set up these penalty corners, none so far today. But again, in that game, they were having a little bit of trouble defending against them. Mazizzi pokes the ball away here. Tries to dribble between a pair of Eagle defenders. The two of them collide. That was Lauren Boucher and Elizabeth Stribling. Boucher nabbed her first goal of the season last time out. That lone goal against Bryn Mawr. We will get the first penalty corner now for Lynchburg. Big goal there for Boucher. She missed all of last season due to injury. So those types of goals, always emotional experience. And that was a game that Mary Wash did take the lead, held the lead until late in the third quarter. And, of course, not 1 overtime, but 2. Nearly went to penalty strokes, but was decided with 2 seconds left that the number 18 team in the country, Bryn Mawr, got the win. Not sure if that was the intended velocity on that pass from Aaron Boatwright. Vendricks was able to scoop it up, so the possession stays down here, but she cannot keep it from going out of bounds. Good effort by Vendricks to corral that ball and give Lynchburg a shot to get an attempt off on frame. Cameron factored in there as well, but at the end of the day, it's a turnover back to Mary Washington. Looking up the field on that near side, it's Caroline Porter. She assisted on that goal in the Bryn Mawr contest. Bryn Mawr, the first of 6 ranked opponents. Lynchburg, the second of those 6 that Mary Washington will face throughout this season. It's not just the ranked opponents, but Mary Washington also doing their rounds around the state of Virginia in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Already played Roanoke, already played Bridgewater, defeated both of them, including a shutout against Roanoke. So looking to make it a perfect 3-for-3 clean ODAC sweep here early in the month of September. That shot, pass I should say, turns out to be illegal. Got a little too high. Dangerous ball there. So back to Mary Washington. Haven't been able to create a whole lot of offense. Lynchburg, again, they get out to these hot starts. They've done a great job, especially in the first quarter of these games, controlling possession, keeping things in their attacking half. It's really just been that one fast break opportunity that resulted in the ball being with the stick of Bernard. That's the best opportunity Mary Washington's had to get on the board. We've already touched on that. Brady putting a stop to it. Lynchburg relishing this opportunity at home. They're currently in the middle of their longest homestand of the season. It's only 4 games, but only 8 home games total for Lynchburg. They do have a pair of neutral site contests very close by, one at Sweetbriar, one at Liberty. Those 2 coming up at the end of the month. One against number 9 York, the other against Center. Mary Washington on the other side, they will only play on the home turf 8 times this year as well. 4 of their first 5. This the 5th. Played away from home. Actually misspoke. They got 1 more on the road. Talking about that ODAC road trip. They're going to Randolph-Macon this weekend. 1 p.m. start there in Ashburn. Down to just 29 seconds remaining in this first quarter, still scoreless, and it's looking like we might stay that way. But Lynchburg, if they're able to force a turnover here, now 20 seconds. This ball's still with Mary Washington. You hear the sideline calling out, take your time. No need to force anything. Don't want to give Lynchburg a great opportunity here with time rolling down. Vendricks gets in the way of that pass upfield, but don't think Boatwright's going to get anything off. 3 seconds to go. And, yeah, that's going to do it for the first period. So, not a whole lot of shots, not any scoring. We have hit a 0-0 decision through the first 15 minutes, but have a feeling that might not stay that way for long. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, the second quarter, lining up for you. You're watching LHSN. Welcome back to the Hill City. Second quarter on tap. Game 4 of the year for Lynchburg. So things starting to take shape a little bit. Conference play hasn't started yet, but we'll take a sneak peek around the ODAC so far. It is Shenandoah, the lone team at 3-1. They command the top of the standings. You see Bridgewater and Roanoke, their one loss each coming to Mary Washington. Lynchburg sitting there in that tie with them, 2-1. 0-0. Of course, there is one team curiously missing from there. That's Washington and Lee. The Generals preseason were ranked within the country's top 20 by the NFHCA. 1-3 start, though, has not been what the team from Lexington has been eyeing. Have no doubt that that will likely turn around. Of course, they are the reigning ODAC champs. A big battle coming up in Lexington for Lynchburg on down the road. Mary Washington can also look ahead into the not-too-distant future, September 20th. They have a date with WNL. But back to field hockey. We are just getting started here in quarter number 2. Again, Sam Graham coming to you live from Lynchburg and Schellenberger Field. Really starting to cool down a little bit now. Expect a gorgeous fall night. It's a little warm for my liking. Probably a little warm for most people's liking last week. Things are cooling off a little bit now, and field hockey's heating up. Ball comes back into play on that near side. Now Mary Washington getting a chance to try and set something up here offensively. Got some substitutions into the game now for both teams, so a little bit of a different look. Far side, that first Mary Washington possession. Short-lived. Lynchburg with it right now. Son of my eyes. Looks like Kessa Schaefer on the far side there. Foul against Lynchburg. Turns it back over to Mary Washington. Neither team able to set up a whole lot of momentum in the early going. Lynchburg controlling more of that TOP, but Mary Wash has not allowed a great opportunity yet. Again, flashing back to that first quarter shot by Kanye Mazizi that flew over the back of the goal. Really the best look Lynchburg's gotten. It's 2 shots apiece for each of these squads, well under their season averages. Lynchburg comes into this one averaging nearly 17 shots a game. Mary Washington just slightly less. 15.2 for the Eagles. We'll tip our hat to the Lynchburg defense, though. Actually, more so probably the Lynchburg offense for controlling the ball. This is an Eagles team that has scored 8 of its 9 goals on the season in either the first or the fourth quarters, 4 apiece. Lynchburg did keep them to a goose egg there today. But on the flip side, Mary Washington holding Lynchburg to a goose egg as well, and that first quarter has been the most profitable for the Hornets as well. So we're bucking some trends here in the early going, but again, we are only 3 or 4 games into this young season, so those trends probably aren't going to hold up a whole lot 10 games down the road. Both of these coaches still trying to find out exactly what they got with their teams. Certainly a pair of programs not afraid to test themselves in the early going. That ball goes a little haywire. First one to it. Guess who? It's number 1 in black. Kanye Mazizi now taking up space on the near side. She sends a missile ahead down the field. That's just going to flip the field position. Nobody was catching up to that ball. Aaron Boatwright probably the closest. That thing had some heat on it. So we'll reset with Mary Washington now on the left side. Mazizi picks that one off. I'm telling you, we really got to get a turnover stat going here in field hockey. No, I'm probably not the number 1 person to ask. Sport's pretty well established at this point, but just for the sake of Mazizi and her spot in the stat sheet, I mean, it would be off the charts. I guarantee you she'd be leading this Lynchburg team. Mallory Lamb probably be up there as well. Mazizi near side, pokes that one away and keeps it in bounds. Now dribbles away from another defender. She surveys ahead, sends one. That pass will be picked off in turn. A little ambitious there from Mazizi, but making things very difficult on Mary Washington trying to advance down the field. Don't blink, 4 minutes already gone by in this second quarter. Clock, of course, rarely stops if not for a goal. Shadows creeping down across Schellenberger Field now. By the time this one wraps up, pretty much the whole field should be in shadows. Sun likely will still be up. We're still pretending that it's summertime here. I guess technically it is still summertime. Haven't officially rolled over to fall just yet. I tell you what, I love the summer, but it's hard to beat the falls here. Those trees start turning, get a little brisk breeze in the air. Yeah, it's hard to beat that. Mary Washington defense still making things tough down here on the Lynchburg attacking third. Now trying to work it up and create some offense. That pass, oh, beautiful pass. Threaded the needle up ahead. Now out and running is Mary Washington. Hold on here a second. Cameron drifting over to give defense. Freeman right on there. That pass right on the money. Bernard is stopped in close, but only temporarily. It's going to set up a penalty corner. Best look so far for Mary Washington. So you see the speed. When this team can get out on the run, it can make some things happen, and you know who they're trying to get it to. It's got to be Bernard. Brady coming up. There was somebody else in there coming up to try and make the stop. And they do for now. Penalty corner coming up. A team in Mary Wash that averages about 11 of those corners per game. Aaron Boatwright jogging down to help take up space down here in defense. Again, multi-time all-conference level defender. Said, you know what? Yeah, I'll try out the left wing this time. What do you need, Coach Steele? Yeah, I got you. Mary Wash now looking to set something up offensively. Pass goes middle. Bernard, her shot blocked by Cameron. Now sent back ahead. Lynchburg avoids the danger there. Now working it up the field. Here's Vendricks. It's one-on-one plus the goalie. Vendricks drifts around. Shot will not be lined up. Vendricks somehow chases it down, hits the turf. Boatwright in to try and help out. And now Mary Washington gets out of a sticky situation. Bernard dribbling it on her stick near midfield. And after all that, we're right back near midfield. It's Weinfordner there far side against 3 Eagles. Pretty simple math there. The Eagles come away with the ball. There's a good stick move there far side. Now working it up. Lynchburg trying to slow down the break here. And now clearing it up and ahead. It was Mika Otjes. Boatwright has it right now. Has a second to survey. Now they're closing in on her a little bit. She dribbles out of bounds. Just lost control a little bit right there. So right near midfield. Now Mary Washington should have a pretty good opportunity to set something up offensively. This pass will be big. It is sent out of bounds. Boatwright was close to it but did not touch it. She substitutes out. Anna Dorstein in. Another Dutch player for Coach Steele's squad. Several members of the team from the Netherlands. That includes assistant coach Noah Den Hartog. It's not just the Netherlands coming into play out of Europe here for this Lynchburg team. Jenny Relaford, another assistant, a Scotland native. Germany represented as well. Reserve goalkeeper Samira Garavi. Mary Washington, not quite as diverse when it comes to other countries, though. It's not all Virginia Beach. There is a good bit from the good old Dominion. That's not it. We do have some Delaware. Hannah Jedshu, freshman midfielder, coming out of San Diego, California. Long trip across the country for her. Now doing some damage on the alternate coast. Appropriate conference for her, though, the Coast to Coast Conference, getting a little bit of competition there from the Pacific. And, you know, these days, I mean, doesn't quite matter which coast you're on. ACC welcoming in California and Stanford. I'll have to rename it the All Coast Conference, but enough of that. Shot goes up high. Mary Washington said, you know what? We'll send one up over the goal as well. That was a good look at it from the far side. Shot coming from Mackenzie Profit, freshman out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Quite a few freshmen, as we mentioned. Profit, Jadchu, Royal, all cracking the starting lineup on a regular basis for this Mary Washington team. Lynchburg, talk about Freeman, talk about Mazizi. Quite a few freshmen factoring in a big way for Coach Steele's squad as well, but it does feel like she has a really nice blend of veteran leadership as well. A pair of fifth years in Kessa Schaefer and Sydney Metz. Feels like she's got a lot of depth and a lot of experience, a great combination on the defensive side in particular. Of course, Riley Cameron takes up that center spot. She's a senior. Mallory Lamb, second year in the program. Riley Weinfordner, very talented reserve junior. Spreading the wealth around here on Lakeside Drive is Coach Steele and Lynchburg Field Hockey year 45, the farewell tour for the legendary coach who is quite literally Lynchburg Field Hockey. There's never been a game that has not been coached by Coach Steele. And as if that wasn't enough, she's done some damage when it comes to women's lacrosse as well. Got that program up and running here at Lynchburg. They just welcomed a new head coach in for this academic year in Mackenzie Rafferty. Got the chance to sit down with her a couple of weeks ago, get to know her a little bit. I think there's big things coming up in the not-so-distant future, that being the spring for Lynchburg women's lacrosse. For right now, Lynchburg Field Hockey, with 5:12 remaining in the half, is going to set up penalty corner. It's keyed in. Comes back to Cameron. She works left side. Vendricks lines one up and finds the back of the cage. Yep, goal stands. Far as I know, we're giving it to number 19, Marlou Vendricks, our player to watch. Oh, yeah, lines one up, got all of that one. No help needed. Assist to Riley Cameron. And Lynchburg strikes first. They didn't find one in the first quarter, but will the first half do? Because it's a 1-0 lead for Lynchburg with 5:05 to go before the break. Lynchburg cracks the code on this Mary Washington defense, and they draw first blood. It's Dorstein near side, battling for it, trying to set up another Lynchburg possession. A little bit of pep in their step. Mazizi getting in the way of that one, but she does knock it out of bounds. So here comes Mary Washington near side. It's Caroline Porter. She works it up. Mazizi gets in the way, tries to send it the other way. She battles with Profit. Profit, a pretty familiar name on campus as well. Of course, Wayne Profit Court, just inside Turner Gymnasium to my left. Legendary basketball coach and player here at Lynchburg. Not too long until basketball season gets ramped up here on campus either. Always something going on. Battling near midfield again here. Coming near side. Now breaking it a little bit. Nope, Mazizi said, I don't think so. It really looks like Dianella Riverola had the jump on her, and at the last second, getting that stick in the way. Not sure who that one was last touched by. Look for our official ruling. They're going to say that was, looks like, off of Mazizi. Nobody got in the way of it, and it's Mary Washington ball. Under 3.5 to play. First half, Dorstein comes off. Boat right back in. Mazizi, that pass a little bit off the mark, rolls helplessly out of bounds before Danielle Kuhn could get to it. Kuhn in her second year in the program, still looking for goal number 1. Thought she had it against Ursinus. was wiped off the board, touched another Lynchburg offensive player on its way there. And that got taken back off. Momentarily, it was a 2-1 lead for Lynchburg, and it did feel that the momentum shifted a little bit. Ursinus found the back of the cage just moments after that. They instead took the 2-1 advantage and then struck once more in the fourth to make it 3-1. That was the final decision. Kuhn has been active, though, does have an assist. Picked that up against Dickinson just over a week ago now. Whiffing on that pass, I believe was, cannot read the number from here, may have been Renee Van Thiel. That sun in the most peculiar spot of the afternoon right now, but again, it's going down. That seems to happen every night. Allie Freeman has it near side, works it ahead. Good job to keep it in bounds there by Mary Washington's Paige Stewart. She got the start tonight. Pretty set 10 starters for Mary Wash. That 11th spot's been a little bit in flux. Some of that coming from injuries, some of that just coming from Coach Tierney trying to figure out exactly what her squad's made of in the early going. But again, a lot to be happy with. Through 4 games for Mary Washington, a 3-1 record. Took Bryn Mawr, again, now ranked 18th in the country, took them right down literally to the next to last second. And that's a heartbreaking loss, but you got to be impressed with Mary Washington's resolve coming back out here today. That game wasn't too long ago, just 4 days. They've really not looked like there's any sort of emotional hangover today. They do find themselves in a 1-0 deficit, but they've held a Lynchburg team averaging just under 3 goals a game to what looks like will be just 1 as we're under a minute to go in the first half. Able to waste a little bit of time there, clearing it into their attacking half, but then Lynchburg takes back over. It's 2-on-2 here. Boatwright has it middle of the field. She's got a little goal streak going, looking to add to it today. Scored in all 3 of Lynchburg's first 3 contests. That ball was poked on its way towards the cage. Now under 30 seconds to go in the first. Lynchburg does have it, certainly an opportunity to score here. Got to make sure those passes are on the money. Kuhn has it right now, dribbling to her right, and right on cue, her pass picked off momentarily. Trying to take it back away were the Hornets, unsuccessful in doing so. Now the attention's going to turn to defense, prevent defense, I should say, as the final seconds come off the clock, and that'll do it. Second quarter was looking like it was going to be on pace with the first until with 5 minutes to go, Marlou Vendricks finds goal number 3 on the season, the 20th of her career, and she puts Lynchburg up 1-0 after 30 minutes. Take one more look at that goal. Man, number 19 can swing it. We have hit the half at Schellenberger Field. We got halftime stats, highlights, and more coming up after the break.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn and that helps us win.
I am a first-generation college student. I applied to 16 universities, and I actually had decided on going to a different university. But doing FAFSA and everything on my own, and the need for a good credit with the Parent Plus loan and everything like that, my plans kind of fell through. I just couldn't give up hope. So I'm wrestling through this like shoebox I have full of like acceptance letters and financial aid letters. And I got my financial aid reward letter, and I also received scholarships from the school, and it was, the most affordable for me. They were excited to work with me. Financial aid really helped me out a lot with getting that situated. And I've just considered it a blessing ever since to go from 1 week not knowing whether or not I had to stay home for a year, and then the next week, knowing that this is where I'm going. It was meant to be, and obviously I consider this place my home, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund. There would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. And so there's a lot to be thankful for, and it's definitely the people that donate. And like I said, not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Well, I want to give a correction. We're going to slow this down, might even show it a time or two. Marlou Vendricks did swing it pretty hard. The goal is not going to belong to her, though. She will get an assist, but look there, right on the corner, Riley Weinfordner getting her stick in there and poking that ball in. So Marlou Vendricks assist, Riley Weinfordner, the all-star defender, gets the goal. First goal of the year for Weinfordner, and that brings us to our 1-0 halftime score. Again, I'm Sam Graham. You are watching LHSN, and we've been treated to a bit of a defensive struggle so far, but certainly very intense and fun game to watch. We'll take a look and run through some of the numbers from that first half. Just 7 combined shots, only one of them placed on goal, and it was the one you just saw. The previously thought Marlou Vendrick's goal corrected Riley Weinfordner goal. Just 0 saves actually on the day. Neither goalie has had to step up. Well, Caleb Brady has not had to step up and make a save. And on the other side, just again, that one shot on goal put on frame. No saves have been made. And only 3 penalty corners as well, so not a whole lot of offense so far. Lynchburg, 9 fouls to Mary Washington's 8, but that is a good bit below their season average, and that is a good thing for Coach Enza Steele. That helps with the time of possession piece, and that will be big when it comes to success in the second half. The defense for Mary Washington certainly continuing to hold up strong. Mentioned they came into today's game .75 goal against average in regulation, .92 overall. They've only had 13 shots put on frame so far this season. That number has climbed to 15, but still below their average per game. And one more note on Mary Washington. They've had 3 yellow cards on the year. They've had 4 green cards. Have got neither of the kind through the first half today. And for Lynchburg, mentioned top of the broadcast, trying to make it 25 straight games without suffering back-to-back losses. They're on pace for that right now. They did not find a first quarter goal to add to their tally. They've been great off the jump so far, but they did pick up a first half goal. And they have, again, the first half advantage. It's 1-0. Will that be all it takes? Or will we have a little more scoring in the second half? Those are the questions to be answered when we come back on LHSN.
If you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
Second half about to get underway. Mentioned earlier this evening that this is the 30th all-time meeting between these two in-state foes. Mary Washington does control the all-time series at 18-11, though Lynchburg has won 2 in a row. It's controlled it a little bit more as of late. Of course, Coach Steele coaching all of those matchups. Coach Tierney only the last handful of them. But this has been a very entertaining series since 1993, and we got an entertaining one right now as well. As it stands, a 1-goal game. Of course, we're early on in the season. Mary Washington already 1-1 in one-score games. Their most recent one, of course, that Bryn Mawr contest. Lynchburg on the other side, 1-1-score contest. That was on the road at a very talented Dickinson squad. Lynchburg came away with the 3-2 victory, so they are 1-0 in those close games. It is Mary Washington with the ball to start out the second half. The sun has dipped behind the clouds, and we got a beautiful Schellenberger field. A little bit more of a crowd accumulating as classes finish up for the day, practices wrap up. Students taking in some field hockey action. First midweek game of the year for Lynchburg. It's been a good one so far. Trying to work it up ahead. Marlou Vendricks may have just misplayed that one a little bit. She somehow seemed to have gotten a little bit lost in transition. Not sure how you could lose tabs on number 19. She seemed to just move up towards that ball at the wrong moment, just misplayed it a little bit, but it is still Lynchburg ball on the near side. Vendrick surveys, gives it off to Schaefer. Big game for Schaefer the last time these two teams met. She had 5 points in the form of 2 goals and 1 assist in a 3-1 decision. Lynchburg has the ball taken away here. Out and running was Mary Washington. They're going to be slowed down, but the foul will go against Lynchburg. That's going to be the 10th of the game. But again, averaging over 35 coming into the contest, so nothing wrong with just now hitting double figures in the foul category. Again, Coach Steele isn't concerned with necessarily winning that battle every game, but certainly do want to keep them down and play clean hockey as much as possible. That time the foul goes against Mary Wash. Far side, it's Lynchburg. That's Freeman. Now, of course, on the far side, she works the left. Turns it over. Mary Washington trying to get out and run. Lynchburg continuing to apply pressure. Nothing coming easy, really, on either side, but especially when Mary Washington tries to get out in transition. Lynchburg does avoid the shutout tonight. If they're able to find another goal, it will be just the second team out of the first 5 opponents to do that against this Mary Wash defense. Of course, we barely even called the name of Bailey McNabb in between the posts and the cage, if you will. Senior goalkeeper out of Chesapeake, Virginia. Traveling out west for this matchup in Central Virginia. Boatwright has it right now after the Mary Washington foul. She tried to thread the needle up to Vendricks. If she had, it would have been trouble for Mary Washington. But thankfully for the Eagles, ball never made it to its intended destination. It was Emma Lehman getting in the way. Mizzizi dives after that ball. Boatwright winds up controlling it, trying to force it away. Mary Washington takes it right back. Nearly a dangerous situation there. Emma Bernard had that Lynchburg cage lined up in her sights, but Riley Cameron pokes it away instead. Stop for the Lynchburg defense, a defense that has just 1 defensive save on the year. But again, allowing less than 2 goals per game. Only Ursinus cracking 2 goals so far. That pass again nearly makes it all the way to Vendricks. And again, corralling it is number 13 in the middle, Emma Lehman, for Mary Washington. She's not the deepest defender, but she's been making all the plays early on in this second half. Already 4.5 minutes gone by. Bit of a standstill. Don't you hate Wednesday afternoon traffic there on the far side? Lynchburg's got to reset. Try to work it up the field now with Mizzizi. Now turns around, faces her own goalkeeper. Oh, that's a dangerous turnover. Working up the field now. Best shot of the day will not be placed on frame. Diving attempt to keep it in bounds on a second opportunity. The initial shot coming from Lauren Boucher, looking for her second goal of the year. She lined that one up just a little bit left of the frame. Mary Washington still looking for its first shot on goal. They do get their third shot off there. Kayla Brady still has not had to come up and make a save. That's got to be a win in the eyes of the Lynchburg defense. Between the legs there and out of bounds as Schaefer was trying to work it up to Vendricks. Now Schaefer resets, goes middle of the field. That's Brooke Highland, first time we've called her name tonight. She's battling middle of the field, and it will be Boucher that takes it back away, works it up for Mary Washington, trying to tiptoe that line. Looked like it went over, and yep, the officials say it did. And very quickly, it's Mallory Lamb, who's been a little quieter than usual tonight. Had a really good day against Ursinus. Gave some good defense. Of course, in a losing effort, but good individual game for the sophomore defender out of Virginia Beach. Foul called here down on the right side. That is, take a look at it again there. Progress impeded there for Kessa Schaefer, and that's going to set up another penalty corner for the Hornets. They got 2 of them in the first half. Quickly, with 6 minutes gone by in the second, they're going to line up number 3. And I mentioned they've had some success on these set pieces. I spoke to Coach Enza Steele ahead of the Ursinus game last week. You kind of see her eyes light up when I asked her about set pieces. So that's one of the beautiful parts of this game. Aaron Boatwright's going to key it in this time. Misplayed by Cameron in the middle. That one really gets away. Lamb, good job to try and go out there and cut it off, but it will find Bernard up ahead. Defense applied for Lynchburg by Olivia Muir. First time we've called her name as well, so everybody getting into the action a little bit early here in the second half. That signifies Mary Washington getting a little bit more pressure on the Hornet Hive. In close right now, in very close and dribbling around. Brady on the near side of that post makes the initial save, kicks it away. Probing there for Mary Washington was Grayson Scott. Starting forward out of King George, Virginia, and it's another good look. Shot hasn't gone up on the board, but in my mind, Kayla Brady made her first save of the day right there, kicking that ball out of harm's way. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Again, they attack Brady on the near side of the cage. That time she does not have to come up and make a play. There it is, shot number 6 for Mary Washington. That should be save number 1 for Brady, but I'll have to check here at the end of the quarter. Well, there it goes. Yep, save number 1, Kayla Brady. 1 save on 1 shot face so far. Perfect 100%. Pretty sure Lynchburg baseball wouldn't mind batting 100%. Lynchburg softball either. Working it ahead now to Mazizi in the center of the field. She dribbles out of trouble. How about those stick skills there? Mazizi getting a little bit of pressure now from that back line for Mary Wash. They have still stood tall for the most part in this game. Poking it away from Mazizi. Initially, great one-on-one battle here far side. How about the defense from number 4, Paige Stewart, junior out of Richmond, Virginia. Now a deep shot lined up. That was inside the blue line. Would have counted, but it's kicked away. That should be a save for Mary Washington. So the offense picking up a little bit here in the mid portion of the third quarter. Shot hasn't gone up on the board. I'm going to call it a shot, though, for Lynchburg. 6.5 minutes to go. Quarter number 3. The ball gets way out ahead. If it can be tracked down, could have been trouble for Lynchburg, but it will be the Hornets that get to it first. They're able to set up the defense. Cameron and Lamb getting back. Now it's Kuhn, center of the field. She works it ahead, looking for Vendricks. Didn't quite get to her. We get an actual stoppage in play here for that foul. Now Mallory Lamb resets for Lynchburg, works backwards first. Here's Muir, sends one up the field, off the stick of a Mary Washington defender, and back. Took a long, convoluted route, does find Allie Freeman, then Aaron Boatwright, who works it ahead. Jenna Tangiers into the game, trying to play that one. Could have set up a nice cross opportunity. Quickly turns into a defensive opportunity for the senior. Now Mary Washington out and running again. Little friendly fire there as Schaefer runs into Lamb. Lamb essentially setting a pick, but she takes the brunt of it. And some of the confusion, Mary Washington gets out in transition on the other side. That was Ashley Coleman, junior forward out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, keeping Lynchburg on their toes. Mallory Lamb gets back on defense, awards it back over to the Hornets. Foul on Mary Wash. Schaefer makes her defender miss. Little crossover. Her pass is off the mark, though, again looking for Vendricks. Hornets definitely trying to get Vendricks involved. They were able to do so towards the end of that second quarter, and it resulted in what we initially thought was a goal, turned out to be an assist. She found Riley Weinfordner. Good effort by Schaefer there to keep that ball in bounds, but does roll over her stick and out. Battle near midfield. Boatwright giving in and contesting that possession by Profit. Profit has it again. And this time Mazizi steps in. Foul against Lynchburg. Trying to work very quickly there, maybe a little too quickly for Ellie Helbling. She wasn't quite ready for that pass from Profit. Ball does stay with Mary Wash. Goes off a Lynchburg stick. Now we get another stoppage in play. Reset far side, 4:07 on the clock, third quarter. Still a 1-0 Lynchburg lead. Offense has picked up a little bit in this third quarter. Now some frustration from the Lynchburg sideline, and Kayla Brady, elation from the bench area for Mary Washington. It's going to set up another penalty corner opportunity for the Eagles. Memory serves, it's just the second one today. And I will note, leading scorer for Mary Wash, Emma Bernard, currently on the bench. So the goal is going to have to come from somebody else if it does. Lynchburg trying to stand tall and get another stop. Kayla Brady, one save on the day. Mary Washington ready to key it in. Here it comes. Goes right over to the middle. It's Boucher. Shakes off the first attack by Mazizi. Then Brady gets in the way. Brady again kicking it out. Brady again. Make it 3 times, and Lynchburg keeps a perfect sheet. Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Brady tested not once, not twice, but 3 times, and she stands tall against all 3. Penalty corner does not result in points, and now Lynchburg forces it back going the other way. That is some vintage Kayla Brady action, to steal a word from my broadcasting counterpart on campus here, Kyle Haney. Would not be surprised if he is watching right now. You talk about Lynchburg superfans. Kyle Haney's at the top of the list. Dribbling around with their backs. With Lynchburg's backs against the wall. Here's Mary Washington. Did not find the goal on that set piece from the corner, but they have been able to put together an extended offensive possession here. Former colleague T.J. Wingert cautioned against those run-on sentence-like possessions. Longer a team possesses it close to your goal, the more worrisome it gets. And Mary Washington, for the first time today, is down on this side of the field for an extended period of time, getting legitimate looks at the goal. 2 of them officially, both saved by Brady. She's up to 3 on the day, holding on to that 100% save percentage. It is still Mary Washington with it. Lynchburg thought they were out of the woods there for a second. Eagles had something else to say. Coach Tierney's squad still looking for their first goal. It's Boucher in the middle. That one goes a little too high. Could not be corralled in the moment by Mackenzie Profit. Does stay with Mary Wash. Boucher trying to work it ahead right into traffic. The intended destination was clogged up by Lynchburg defenders. But again, it's number 13. She has been absolutely everywhere in the second half. Emma Lehman putting her stamp on this third quarter of action. Score might be a little different if it weren't for her. This time doing it on the near side of the field. Dangerous situation for Lynchburg. Diving on the ground and making the save there is Brady, but it is going to be a penalty situation once again for Mary Washington. Take a look at it again, maybe here in just a second, as Brady goes down on the turf for the first time today. And here comes another penalty opportunity, but the anticipation there from Brady's the impressive thing. She starts that dive before the shot even comes off. Trusts her teammates to stop that initial blow, and then takes the second one on her own. That's her 4th save of the day, but here comes another penalty corner. They go to Boucher again. This time she works to her left. Brady kicks it out again. Kayla Brady is locked in on a Wednesday night, and she's keeping a goose egg in the Mary Washington scoreboard. Now 1-on-1 in transition. Here come the Hornets. Near side. Oh, it's going to be a great look. Diving save made, the first of the day by Mary Washington. Stepping out of the cage and making the stop. Number 55, Bailey McNabb. Got a little bit of excitement now. Coming in close was Danny Kuhn. That was awful close to the semicircle. Not sure if he was in or out of it. Man, excitement picking up. You see the save there by Brady. McNabb says, I'll do you one better. We're not getting to 2 scores on this end either. 1-0 lead for Lynchburg. Still probing offensively. It's Boatwright trying to extend that goal streak. Didn't quite get a hold of that shot. Mary Wash staying out of trouble now. 33 seconds as the clock stops for, looks like an injury. That is number 14, Lauren Boucher. She'll be tended to by the athletic trainer. She'll come out of the game, be replaced by number 17, Hannah Jadshu. Again, out of San Diego, made the start. Boucher holding her chin there. Did not catch what happened in the moment. She was on the near side. So could have been a collision, could have been a stick. Not sure. Hope she is all right. She'll be tended to on the near side. So everything will be reset. Believe it'll be Mary Washington ball on that far side. It's going to be a face-off of sorts. It's Boatwright for Lynchburg. Can't see the number for Mary Wash. It was 12. It's Ellie Helbling. It is taken by Lynchburg. Lynchburg looking for the call, and they will get it. A big cheer from the Lynchburg sideline. We got a penalty corner. 24 seconds to go as the set piece will come in for the Hornets. Looking for goal number 2. And it's going to be Boatwright to key it in. Any number of things could take place here. You take a look at what drew the foul. Impeding Boatwright's progress there after that face-off of sorts was Helbling. And now is the aforementioned Boatwright to key it in. Lined up behind the formation is Lamb in case it goes askew. It is Cameron controlled easily. Now here comes the shot near side. Second opportunity. The first shot was blocked. Second opportunity won't make it. And with 12 seconds, it's another whistle. It's another corner. So Lynchburg generating some opportunities here late in the third quarter, looking for what would be a big second score. Shots not at as much of a premium here in the second half. It's now 15 between the two teams. 16. 10 for Mary Wash, 6 for Lynchburg. And Lynchburg on the other side of what plagued them against Ursinus. That shot lined up, looked good, but was blocked and stopped. This one again stopped. That looked like the goalkeeper, and that will end the third quarter. McNabb comes up big a couple of times right before the end of the quarter. She stands tall, but hold on. Players staying on the field, so you might have a little bit more time to run off. Mary Washington players going back into the cage, so was another corner called? Maybe another foul in close. Yeah, looks like it. Boatwright jogging back out. We'll see how much time we get here. Can't be much. Take a look at it again. Saw that initial shot blocked. There's the stop by McNabb, and she eventually just falls on it, but corner's called, so we got to let this play out. Here's Cameron corrals it. Works over near side, dribbling around. There's the shot, stopped by McNabb. Another one kicked out of bounds, and that will not finish things off either. Back into the cage they go. Back into the conference we go for Lynchburg. And they're going to draw up another penalty. The third quarter cannot find its end. Mary Washington continues to rise to the occasion. And it's now 5 unanswered shots for Lynchburg as they've just about drawn even at 10 apiece. Boatwright again to key it in. Zero's on the clock, but we got to see this play out. Cameron works to her left. Decent look at it. Whiffed on it. Good defense by Mary Washington, and that will do it finally for the third quarter. Lynchburg getting a couple bites at the apple, a couple freebies, if you will, unable to add to their 1-0 advantage. And I'll continue my point from earlier. Offense picking up a little bit, but no new score after 3. It's still 1-0 Lynchburg, looking for its first home win of the season over Mary Washington.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
We're through 3, and just 1 score separates these two teams so far. Only 1 goal has been put up on the board, but the offense did pick up a little bit. Quite a few opportunities on both sides through that 3rd quarter. Take a look there at Coach Enza Steele, and we'll take a quick peek at the upcoming schedules for each team. First, for Mary Washington, mentioned a pair of ODAC opponents that they faced already, wins over Roanoke and Bridgewater. So a 2-0 record against the ODAC so far, trying to make it 3-0 tonight. And coming up, it's Randolph-Macon, Washington and Lee, and number 25, Shenandoah. So the ODAC tour continues. It won't end there either, as they will travel to Virginia Beach and take on Virginia Wesleyan September 27th. And for Lynchburg, they will see their first ranked opponent of the season, barring something absolutely ridiculous coming up here soon. It's Kenyon up next, September 16th, then Randolph-Macon and York. So both of these two teams with Randolph-Macon dates coming up very soon. Mary Washington will get a taste before Lynchburg does. We're already off and running here in the 4th quarter. It's Vendricks absolutely shooting that one up across the field. It will not be corralled at first. Looks like Highland was the intended recipient. So a couple more reserves getting in here right now. Some breathers for the starters before we hit the stretch. 13:57 to go. Mazizzi has it middle of the field. She lines up one, catches her teammate, and it's a foul against Lynchburg going back to Mary Washington. Far side, Mary Wash trying to get to that midfield line. Lynchburg going to stop them for now. Foul this time against Mary Wash. It's Freeman with it. Good game today for Freeman. Not necessarily in the score sheet. Certainly carried her duties very effectively today. Balancing along that back line. There's Lynchburg now threading the needle is Danielle Kuhn. She's going to need a little bit of help. Had 4 Eagles surrounding her, and they will take it away from her. That's candy from a baby. Not a whole lot that Kuhn could have done there. Good defense by Mary Washington. Lynchburg trying to keep it in their attacking half. Mary Washington sends it the other way before it's recollected by Dorestein. Mazizzi tries to grab it, can't. Now getting down transition a little bit, but Mazizzi is just too fast. She tracks that Mary Washington player down in no time. For the Eagles, that was Monique Lipton, sophomore out of Virginia Beach. First time we've called her name. That possession ultimately results in nothing. Keying it back in after the Lynchburg foul is Emma Lehman. Pretty much everything on the right side of the screen to begin this 4th quarter. Coming up on 3 minutes gone by. Lynchburg trying to protect a 1-0 advantage. Not much margin for error. Lynchburg, we will say, has now scored 4 straight games to begin the year. Caleb Brady and Lynchburg defense already have 1 shutout to their name so far this year. It was a 4-0 season opening win on the road at Lebanon Valley. Brady had quite a few shutouts last year, none more memorable than her Code Red performance against Johns Hopkins, an eventual national finalist. They came into this place, onto this historic Schellenberger field, and they came away with a loss. Lynchburg, big old win last year's regular season, en route to a 17-4 final record, a trip to the ODAC title game. Did not reach the NCAA tournament. Certainly no questioning the quality of team that Coach Enza Steele put onto the field last year. Right now it's Mary Washington with the opportunity offensively. Brady hits the turf, gets back up and kicks that one out of bounds. Brady mistimed that just a tad. That first dive, it's a little bit unnecessary as it went off the foot of Bernard, but she recovers very well, steps up, kicks that one out of harm's way. Lynchburg trying to move forward on the attack again. Mazizi, a spin move to get out of trouble. Spins right into another Mary Washington defender. This time she shoots it up the field. Tracked down and sent the other way by Mary Wash. And now stopped and sent back the other way by Freeman. Pinball at midfield. It's Kuhn with it right now. Lamb coming up on the left side. Instead they work back far side. It's Cameron. Up to Freeman. Good passing from Lynchburg until Eagles got in the way of that one. It's Paige Stewart coming up making the stop. It does stay with Lynchburg. Whiffing on that pass. And a little bit of an opportunity potentially for Mary Washington. Ball goes high up in the air, stays with Mary Wash. Time certainly becoming of the essence now. Plenty of it, 9.5 minutes. But again, 9.5 minutes can go pretty quick in this game, especially without generating some more set pieces. And I don't think Mary Washington's going to get to that 11 average that they've set over their first 4 games of the season. Now, it may not take 11, but it is quite unlikely that they're going to get there. Penalty corner number at the end of this game won't quite tell the full story. Lynchburg, of course, racking up quite a few just before the third quarter there, but unable to make anything of them. Lynchburg ends that Mary Washington possession. Got to figure it's a little bit of a mental win each time they're able to send the ball the other way. That was almost, could be bad. Brady all over the place, crawling around on the turf. Eventually sends it out. Incredible string of saves for Brady, who's now up to 7 in the game. She came up, tried to make the initial save. It got away from her. The second attempt just about looked like the equalizer for Mary Washington. Defenders moved in nicely to try and set up the defensive save. It wasn't necessary, though, because before the shot could be lined up, Brady had gotten back into position, made another stop. Another 2 saves for the senior. Mentioned she was tested, and for a very rare instance, was gotten the best of in that Ursinus game. It seems she took that one personally. Saw her a few times throughout the day, just had a, I don't want to say a serious face, but just a face like, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a different story tonight. She has calmly stepped back in and put together a heck of a performance. It's not out of the woods yet, though. Still just a 1-goal advantage for Lynchburg. Nowhere near comfortable, and Mary Washington has put a lot more pressure on in the second half. They like these lower scoring games. It's what their defense has come to expect. They aren't going to get the shutout in this one, but could once again keep their opponents under 2 goals in regulation. They can hold tough for 7 more minutes. A goal would certainly be an added bonus as they try to send this thing to overtime. Pin there in the corner. It's Hannah Jadshu. Taken away by Vendricks. Good pass as she works it up. Another good pass. Dutch-to-Dutch connection. Dorstein feeds it back to Vendricks. Fast break opportunity for Lynchburg. Back up to Dorstein. How'd she corral that? Offhand. Dribbles around her defender. Good defense from Mary Wash, but even better offense working their way up the field. They earn another penalty. How about the 2-woman game between Dorstein and Vendricks? From Netherlands to Virginia, there's the foul. It's going to go against Mary Washington's Lauren Boucher. She's had a good day, but on that one, she gives another penalty corner to the Hornets with 6:33 to go. Lynchburg trying to deliver, I won't say the knockout punch, but certainly would be tough to come back from for the Eagles if they can connect. It does go to Cameron again. She's been a popular target on the set pieces. Cameron does not get a hold of the ball there. And getting away from the penalty corner tries Mary Washington. They do dribble it out of bounds, and Cameron recollects to try another offensive possession for Lynchburg. Works the inline, trying to go to Mizizzi. Secondary target was Dorstein. Doesn't make it to either of them. Mary Washington trying to get out of trouble. That one's poked out, looked like by Cameron. Yep, does go to Mary Washington. It's Boucher near side. Another foul against Lynchburg. Starting off this possession will be Emma Lehman again. Still working that near side. Ball goes out of bounds this time on the far side. As more and more time continues to come off the clock, certainly working in Lynchburg's favor. We'll give credit to Coach Steele's squad. There's been no lack of trying on the offensive side. Lynchburg knows that that 1-goal lead isn't safe. They've been looking for the second all half long. Foul goes against Lynchburg this time. A string of fouls going against the Hornets here. They've still done a relatively good job on the day. They have still been outshot 12-9 in favor of Mary Washington, but Eagles still looking for that first goal. Lynchburg was the slightly better shooting team on the year coming into today. 16% for the Hornets, just under 15 for the Eagles. Good pass from Mallory Lamb ahead to Vendricks. Assist on the day on the Weinfordner goal. Gives us our 1-0 score. Her pass, intended pass to Boatwright, is picked off and eventually sent out of bounds by Mallory Lamb. The defense set up for Lynchburg here. They just got to try to keep things on this side of the field as much as possible. Try to pick up win number 3 of the 2023 campaign. Draw even at the top of the standings with Shenandoah. 3 wins apiece. The date between those two squads coming up on down the line. Not too far down the line, still in the month of September. It'll be September 30th. Final Saturday of the month. It'll be a matinee, a brunch special, 1 p.m. start on that one. Not too long after that will be the October 7th date, same time against Washington and Lee. So within the same week, it will be the 3 teams that began this season ranked 1, 2, 3 atop the preseason coaches poll that will do battle with one another. That one sent in way ahead of everybody. Closest to it was Vendricks. McNabb doesn't even have to give chase. It rolls out of bounds. Looks like we'll stay with Lynchburg, though, so I guess Mary Washington getting a piece of that on its way. Trying to spin out of trouble there is Schaefer. Lamb now keeps it on this side. She goes to Ventil. Trying to go to Mazizi, center of the field there. Mazizi does ultimately track it down. Double coverage now coming on her. Probably a smart move from Coach Tierney. Try to counteract that speed and athleticism she brings to the table. An extra defender. She has been a little quieter here in the second half. Schaefer battling for that loose ball, still battling for it, and it goes out of bounds back to Mary Wash. Getting into desperation time now with 2:08. Still having trouble setting up a true offensive set, or offensive possession rather, is Mary Washington. 120 seconds to go. That's the distance between Lynchburg and a third win on the year, and that's all that remains on the egg timer for Mary Washington. Keeping it in bounds. Great play there, but unable to track it down before Dorstein. Dorstein does dribble it out of bounds, so it will stay with Mary Wash with 1:39 to go. Little pep in their step now, as we would imagine. Boatwright comes up, makes a big stop there, and gets it away from her defender. At worst, going to drain a little bit more time off the clock. At best, slight fast break opportunity. It will be quelled by the Eagles. They did not have numbers there, they being Lynchburg. Now Boatwright going through the defense. Her shot looked like deflected, or maybe not. They've gone out on Boatwright's own accord, but 66 seconds now as Mary Washington got to get it back across midfield. That ball goes up in the air. Foul on Mary Wash. Turn back over to Lynchburg with under a minute to go. Schaefer has it. Looking for the knockout blow. Kicked out by McNabb. Rebound comes back to Lynchburg. It's Ventil. She tries to line up a shot. No good. Foul against Lynchburg. Back to Mary Wash. 40 seconds to play. Excitement there and close as Lynchburg looks for goal number 2. Couldn't find it. Running with a head of steam, but stopped by Mazizi. That was Paige Stewart trying to make something happen for Mary Wash. Mazizi trying to clear it ahead. Lynchburg would love to dribble this thing out with 22 seconds to go. It does now come into the left side of your screen. Now it's Mallory Lamb giving excellent one-on-one defense. Schaefer scoops up the misfire. And with 12 to go, Schaefer just trying to protect this thing, and it looks like she will. Lynchburg gonna pick up win number 3 of the 2023 campaign, barring something. Yeah, that's gonna do it. The rest of the time ticks off. Lynchburg does avoid back-to-back losses to make it 25 straight games for Coach Steele's program, going back to the end of the 2021 season since they have lost 2 games in a row. It's just one score. Comes in unorthodox fashion. Marlou Vendricks thought she had the goal. Nope, Weinfordner going to be credited with the score and the game winner. Her first goal of the season proves enough, and we can't leave out a fantastic all-conference, all-state, you name it type performance from Kayla Brady in the cage. You got to figure Coach Karen Mann very pleased with that performance, and none more pleased than Brady herself. She shakes off a shaky performance against Ursinus and helps put Lynchburg back in the win column. Mary Washington on the other side does fall to 2-2, and they will look ahead to a September 16th. That is this Saturday at 6 p.m. A 1 p.m. date against Randolph-Macon on the road for Lynchburg. It's also Saturday. It will be 1 p.m., and it will be Kenyon the next up in a 4-game homestand. Kenyon will make the trip south to Schellenberger Field. Should certainly be a good one, and you know that we will have it for you right here on LHSN. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from today, but we're going to go ahead and try to get you on out of here. Maybe catch a late dinner, but we can't wait to see you next time. Special thank you to Josh Smith, our director, Sam Rice, our director of digital media, Tim LaDuca, special happy birthday, our sports information director, titles exchanging a little bit here, and the rest of our fantastic LHSN crew. We thank you, and we will see you next time.